5 years in that division and they're out.
Okay lads, for those who missed episode 1, let's get you all caught up very quickly. We're playing with Scarborough Athletic in the 7th tier of English football, that's one below the National League North, and the plan is to get them promoted all the way to the Premier League and hopefully do something in the Champions League maybe as well. I have a lot of history with the club personally. I went to go and watch them play with my granddad every other weekend when I was really young. Absolutely loved the club. I was gutted when they got wound down and they closed the gates, but they reformed in 2007. They've now got their own stadium, things are back on track, and we might have a great club back in English football again. Enough of the emotional stuff. You can see here we've made lots of new signings. In fact, in my predicted first 11, we've only got 2 players from last season. Majority of those I have signed, and that's these guys here. So we'll begin with Callum Scullion, left back, position that we did highlight as a massive area of problem, a massive issue area. We had no left backs whatsoever, so he should do a decent job. Pretty well rounded, in fairness. Next signing is Ekuma. I wasn't happy with the strength in depth at centre back, and I think this guy can do a bit of everything. Not to mention, I like to play ball playing defenders where I can. And he's got decent technique and decent passing, so he will fit in there. Also liking his pace and acceleration, which will come in handy. The next signing is going to be an interesting one, Lewis Mcnall. He's probably a bit overpaid at 350 quid a week, but I like the fact that he's reasonably fast, he can dribble, and he's got a little bit of a poacher in him. We don't have an awful lot of speed, with most of our strikers being quite old now, so he should inject something different into the team. Jose Ramon is a wild card. He's probably not ready for first team football, doesn't really suit the tactic yet, but I actually quite like the look of him. Obviously I couldn't scout him, so I just dove in and took the risk due to his 14 passing, his off the ball movement, teamwork, and his determination. I just like those stats, so he's coming as a wild card. He'll be on the bench and we'll see what we can get from him. For 55 quid a week, he's peanuts. Tyler Hamilton's probably our biggest signing, ex-Hull player, and he plays on the wing. Now he should be playing either inverted winger on the left side or from the right as a winger. I'm going to use him from the left as a winger. Not really to his strengths. The problem I've got is I have no one for that position, and he's the nearest I'm going to get. So we're going with that. He's got good finishing, half reasonable long shots for this sort of level. So you never know, he might chip in with a goal or two from the wing. The last signing is Liam Haggerty. We did have right backs, but I didn't feel like they were quite good enough. And Haggerty's a real good all-rounder, good crossing as well, which is something that we were lacking. Just to explain something really quickly, I was an idiot, and when I was negotiating all these deals, didn't look at what people are actually asking for. So Haggerty, Ekuma, and Mcnall are all pissed off with me. They've all got poor morale because I told them that we'd strengthen the first team. They all, within a week, came to me and said, "Boss, you've not strengthened the first team, we're pissed off." It's like they gave me literally a week to bring players in, so I was a bit pissed off about that, but is what it is. It hasn't affected the rest of the squad too much, so we should be okay. Pre-season's gone pretty well. We won all 6 of our friendlies before we came up in the first game of the season against Witton Albion at home. Now, full strength squad, and all the new signings turned up. Mcnall scored from a Haggerty throw in there, and everybody got involved in the next goal. Haggerty to Hamilton to Mcnall. All 3 brand new signings, so I was really happy with that. And the third goal was a complete peach. Hamilton cut back onto his right foot to cross the ball for Coulson to head home. That kind of alleviates my worries about him being right-footed playing on the left wing. And then Glynn passed the ball through to Coulson for a poacher's finish to score, and Coulson also got his hat-trick from the penalty spot. Great start to the season. Yes, Witton scored 2 goals, but that's something we can work on going forward. Right, chaps, so the first live game is going to be Basford away. We're then playing Whitby Town at home, and that is a huge derby for us. Whitby are literally half an hour up the coast from Scarborough, so I want to rest all my players for that one. The Basford game, we're not the favourites, we're underdogs, so I'm going to use my 4-1-3-2 for the very reason that so many players are going to be rested. Hamilton's still playing, and Mcnall is. The rest of the team are going to be secondary players. Basford are playing a 4-4-2, and looking at the scout report I got before the game itself, it would suggest that they may be playing a cautious game. Might be something to look out for, because I've found quite often when you come up against an opponent playing either defensive or cautious, playing attacking strategy, which I do all the time, can lead to problems. We've got our first attack though, and it's our first goal. Walshaw, who is more of a target man than he is a poacher, as we've just seen there, gets in with his first goal of the season. Merris, crossing, he's a left back. Walshaw, 35-year-old, scores for Scarborough. Brilliant. So that's 1-0. Good start to the game. The other difference between the 4-4-2 and the 4-1-3-2 is we play pressing forwards in this system. The 4-4-2 are advanced forwards, so it's just a little bit more of a conservative system for the away games that I'll probably be falling onto, I reckon, quite often this season. Law picks the ball up, goes over the top to Richards. That was poor defending, they're in, but it's a good save by Tommy Taylor. Back up the other end, Merris. That was a good effort from the left back. Tip wide for a corner. Merris takes it. It's out to Thompson. The right winger picks up another corner. Now you may be wondering, well, why don't you just play the 4-1-3-2 from the off every game? Well, the 4-4-2 suits my team much better. I get to play Dawson as a deep line playmaker and Watson as a box-to-box midfielder. Just suits them both very well. One thing we do need to be very wary of as well is both systems are quite aggressive with individual instructions to get stuck in. So we need to watch the yellow cards and tell people to, great goal. Fishley, wow. Pick that one out of the top draw, lad. Hamilton got a good cross in. Thompson couldn't do much with it, but the right back Fishley fires home. Brilliant. Yeah, as I was saying, we're going to have to be very wary of yellow cards this season because it could be a problem. Most likely, I'll have to tell the lads to ease off every time they pick one up. Into the second half, 2-0 up. I'm really happy with this. I think we're also going to, in a second, switch it on to cautious and tell the lads to regroup. Oh, nearly. Tell the lads to regroup and stop pressing so much. Because that's what happened in the last game. We kept pressing, even though we're 5-0 up, and we ended up conceding a few goals. Oh, who's going to get there first? It's Keane. Going well so far, though. I'm quite happy with it. Hamilton's done great there to pick the ball up. Ooh, nice effort. Nice effort. Right, let's make a change. We need to get Mcnall rested for the big game, as well as Hamilton. He's going to be key. And who else? We've got room to bring one more player off. I think we might have Ramon off. Just bring Dawson on. There we go. Really good result this, considering we weren't favourites as well. Very much a weakened team, especially at the back in defence. So no complaints whatsoever as Thomas is in and gets the third. Scarborough Athletic are romping home. So the counter press, we're going to switch to regroup and we're going to tell them to hold shape rather than counter. There we go. It's maybe a bit early to be doing that, but we're 3-0 up. So I reckon that they're going to have to really start applying some pressure, change from their cautious approach, which will leave all sorts of gaps for us to open up as Coulson is in and he scores 4-0. The SEADOGS can fly. Brilliant. That's Coulson's 4th goal of the season. The main man, he's 31, so it's a shame that we're going to be losing him soon. But if he can get us up to National League North, that'd be great. It's been a real mixed bag of goal scorers today as well. Walshaw, the target man, Coulson off the bench as the poacher, Fishley the right back, and Thompson the right winger. So yeah, brilliant performance. 17 shots, 9 on target, 2 clear-cut chances. pretty even on the possession stats. Going into the Whitby game, I'm probably going to switch back to the 4-4-2. Okay guys, we're about to jump into the Whitby Town game, the big derby on the northeast coast. Before we do, I brought up this screen here. I'll just pull it up the right way. So you're in match preview, just before team selection. If you go to opposition reports and click overview, it gives you a good understanding of what you're going to be up against. So you get some role ideas there, if what type of football they're playing. So they're playing gegenpress in theory, and they'll be playing more of a cautious mentality. Now I was mentioning in the last match that you need to be very wary of the style of play the opposition are playing, because if you're playing an attacking pressing system and they're playing quite cautious and moving the ball around, it's a massive weakness for your system. And coming up against a possession-based, cautious style, we'll end up seeing balls coming over the top as you are pressing forward. Just something to bear in mind, something worth looking at before you jump into the match engine. I found that tool really handy. I'm a bit frustrated because Mcnall, after getting all pissy about us not apparently strengthening the team when we actually have done, has started missing the odd training session and is performing very poorly. Haggerty is also performing very poorly in training, so something I'm going to have to look out for. I've warned them both, but whether that works we'll have to see. As Hamilton scores an absolute blinder from the edge of the area. I said he was going to be our big star player this season. Great signing. We're paying him the big bucks, £400 per week. At this level, that's a lot of money, but he's been worth it so far. He's been golden. I think he's had 2 assists in the first game. He got one in the last game, and he scored his goal there. So great start from the left winger. Almost half time. There's one more highlight to come as Hamilton takes the ball down the wing well. He's cut inside, and that was an awful shot. Right, 1-0 at half time, guys. Not a bad performance, although I do feel like we're giving the ball away a little bit. Possession stats wouldn't suggest so, but you see, this is the issue I was saying about with our corners as well. Getting broken on. Oh my God, what are you doing? Why? Why did you need to clean him out there? Hobson, bottom corner, 1-1. Gifted him, that absolutely gifted him it. They've done nothing all game. And then a rush of blood to the head from Akuma, the new centre-back, new signing, and level. They are level. Might need to make a look at a change in a second, I think. The Scullion gets the ball forward to Mcnall, who scores his 3rd goal of the season from 2 starts. Pretty interesting goalkeeping, shall we say? But we'll take it. We will take that. I think the keeper flapped a little bit there. Right, let's make a couple of changes. We'll have Coulson off for Walshaw, who got his goal last season. What am I talking about? Last game. I'm going to have Dawson off as well because he's looking a little bit tired, and I'm going to have Ramon on, and then we've got one more switch to make, which I'm going to wait for that. In a second we're probably going to be messing about with a tactic as well. I'll wait for this highlight to go by. Go on, Ramon. Someone get a foot in. Yep, we're on the break. Mcnall, he's got the speed, but can he score? No, he can't. Straight at the goalkeeper. On with the corner. Swung from Glynn. Oh no, it's gone short to Watson. Back out for a throw-in. Right, let's use up this final substitution. I'm going to bring Glynn off for Thompson. And we're going to switch to a cautious mentality. And I'm going to go to hold shape and regroup. Just to avoid that counter-attack that we saw where we gave away the penalty. Right, 20 minutes left. We're 2-1 up. I'm hoping going to that cautious mentality will work. And we can hopefully hit Whitby on the counter, or at least avoid conceding. I never like coming up against 3 at the back systems where they leave 2 up top. I always find that they can break against our pressing systems, because that's generally the style of play I always play. As Gels in behind, good save by Taylor, poor finish, but that was second clear-cut chance of the game for Whitby Town. As they're applying pressure again. Is that allowed? It is. They've equalised 2-2. No. Oh, it's offside. It's offside. Thank God for that. Thompson. Went for the top corner, but over. As the game has finished and we've won 2-1. So that's a great start to the season. 9 points from the first 3 games. Goal difference is up at 8, so we are playing well. Just this 4-4-2 is very, very risky. And I'm not so sure it's suitable for this level of football, whereas the 4-1-3-2 seemed quite secure. So I'm going to play a few more games. This will all be off camera, of course, and we'll just see which system is performing the best. Right, guys, that's it for today's episode. Thank you very much for following. It is much appreciated. As I said before, this save means an awful lot to me because the club does. So it should hopefully carry on for quite some time, and we'll hopefully get Scarborough, the SEADOGS, back up to the Premier League. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments. That'd be much appreciated. I want it to be an interactive series. And give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, because it does help the channel massively. Right, guys, I'm going to go now. So we will catch you very soon with episode number 3. See you later.